Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. My name's Hikari and today we're going to do a draw with me. So sit back and relax, grab some tea, and let's get started. So a little background about my drawing today. This is a drawing of my grandmother's house that I'm working on, and I'm doing it in the style of Edward Gorey, who is a famous artist that my parents really enjoy, and I've recently started researching about him, looking at his art and the books he's done. And his art is very much defined by a lot of pen strokes, pen drawings, and very detailed, but in a simple way, if that makes sense. And I wanted to include that kind of style, but for this illustration of a house. The reason why I'm drawing my grandma's house is because we're going to be getting rid of it soon. And I wanted to talk about that process a little bit, since I feel like it's an interesting topic to talk about, dealing with loss, but also dealing with losing the physical things of the person you lost. So my grandma died in 2020, and during that time, because of COVID and stuff, we weren't able to go meet her very much, but I was able to call her. So that was very healing for me, that I got to saw her before she passed away. And she didn't die of COVID, but it was that time. And for me, a lot of stuff happened unrelated to her death during that year. So a lot of stuff is kind of blurry, or I don't remember much of 2020 and 2021. But I remember certain things about going to her house after she passed away and feeling like it was weird. It's the physical objects are still there and it didn't move, but it feels like it's lost their life because no one lives there anymore, no one's interacting with them anymore. And my grandma was a huge hoarder. She had so many things in her house, and in my AP art portfolio, I actually made a drawing about all the things she's left behind. I made it out of leftover paper in our art room, and then drew the leftover things in her house because my theme was leftovers, or nokorimono in Japanese. And I feel like all the stuff, all the objects in her house and the building itself, it is just like a leftover. It's like an empty husk of what used to be there. And now that we're getting rid of the house 3 years after her death, I've been dealing with the fact that I won't see a lot of these objects. I won't see this house anymore. And I was kind of, sad about that. But my mom was telling me that her grandparents' house, she still feels like it's there even though it isn't. And the house just lives on in her memory. And that was really encouraging to me. I think even after my grandma's death, I still remember her through my memories, and when I make art or do origami, which is something we used to do a lot together, I feel like she's very much encouraging me and she's always there. So remembering your loved ones through actions is definitely a way to keep their memories alive. I feel like most artists are working through something when they're drawing or painting. Everyone's working through some sort of emotion when they're creating. And I think that's a very human response to loss and dealing with difficult things. And I'm trying to use art and drawing as a way to not deal with my loss. Obviously I am sad about the fact that she's not here anymore, but I didn't go through an intense depression grieving moment because she was going through a lot before her death, and I felt like she was finally free and she's in a better place, which is something a lot of people say, and it can ring very empty when they say it to you right after you lost a loved one. But I think now that some time has passed, I'm really comforted by that phrase. And I don't know, so the feelings I have is very much different from just sadness. I'm coming to a point where I'm yeah, let's just appreciate the time I did have with her, the things she did give me, and the joy I had playing with her, and just keep her memories alive in any way I can. And I think for me that's drawing, and that's why I wanted to draw this house before it goes, because also it's a pretty cool house. In Japan, you don't see many houses like this, and I don't know, I feel like it's a pretty interesting architecture. The inside is pretty cool too, and I hope to do some art connected to the inside of the house. I already did like the objects that are memorable to me, as I mentioned earlier, and now I've done like the outdoor of the house. So I hope I can do something else connected to the inside zoom in, like is it blueprint or like, the inside diagram of the house itself, if that makes sense. On the topic of losing a loved one, I read a book recently, I forget the title, what was it called? I think it was like dancing at the pity party with dead mom or something. It's something like that. And it was a really good book. It's like a graphic novel, and it has the most like realistic, open, honest depiction of grief and like what the author went through when she lost her mom. And it was a very emotional book, but it was also a very comforting book, and I would recommend it for anyone who wants to read something like that. And the art is very nice too, it's very cute. And this book made me think like it's very hard to talk about losing people you love, or just like the concept of death in general, I feel like is a weird thing. And losing my grandma was like the first death in my close family, so that was quite interesting experience to go through. I feel like talking about the loss and like sharing and making something out of these feelings is always healing, and that's what this author did in her book, and I think that's what I'm doing in my art. And I feel that's what really connected me to Edward Gorey's art. I feel like Edward Gorey's art, to me, it's kind of whimsical, but in like a dark way. And his art, it's cute but very dark, and it's also very sketchy, but there's a lot of emptiness, and I feel like to me it connected with my feeling right now about getting rid of the house. And this process has also made me realize my logical side and emotional side, and being more aware of it when I'm making decisions. Like when I was talking to my dad and he was telling me like, yeah, we're probably gonna get rid of the house soon, especially because I'm gonna go to college and I'm the youngest one in my family, so me going to the next stage of my life and going to college is like a pretty big deal, or like a big step into a new stage of our family's life. So this is like the right moment to, transition and get rid of things that we've been meaning to get rid of, or just organizing things that we've been meaning to organize and moving on. And that's why it's like this is the right option right now, to get rid of the building, to get rid of the stuff my grandma had and stuff like that. And I was like, logically that makes so much sense, and I'm fully agreeing with that. But I do also have the emotional side of me, which is a bit samishi, or like, how do I translate that? Like, it is sad, it's like bittersweet, it's melancholic. Like, this process is gonna be a bit bittersweet, of like looking back at things and like throwing them away, or like deciding what to keep and getting rid of the house. And that's like the emotional side of me speaking. And when I was younger, when I was growing up, I was trying to limit my emotional side. I was trying to limit my feelings, because I thought it was, non-logical things are not good, and it doesn't make sense, and it only blinds my decision making and stuff like that. But my emotions are there for a reason, and I've been realizing that through these past few years with therapy. Like, my emotions are there for a reason, and they're also very important to me. So two things can be true at once. I can be bittersweet, I can be sad about getting rid of things, while also agreeing with the fact that it is the right choice to make right now for our family. And that's something I've been telling myself, and that's been something I've been telling my family. Just like, yes, I do agree, but please let me vent about my emotions as well. But again, I do still agree with the decision, I feel like that kind of balance, I've been talking to my friend about this too, but that balance is so different for each person, like how much your emotional affects your decision making versus the logical side, or like even within that, even if you are on like the making decision logically side of the spectrum, some people might have emotion still, and some people might not have any emotion. Like, my dad's on the more not feeling emotion side, which, like, that's not true. He does feel emotion, but, like, he's not, I don't know, like, he doesn't feel things the same way I do. And I'm a little bit more on the emotional side, but my mom is on the very much emotional side, and, like, the balance of that within the family, or the balance of that within friend groups, I feel like is very important, or very interesting and very important to know and, like, figure it out. I feel like this is kind of an unrelated topic, but I hope that made sense. I don't know how to end this video, but I think we're getting to the end of the drawing. Here's the final product. And I'm probably gonna do more drawings related to my grandma. As you know, I'm in this transition period, and I'll be posting about them on Instagram, so make sure you follow me. I hope to make more draw with me videos, or more like me talking videos. Let me know what you would like, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye!